Hey there, friend. Welcome back to the channel. And it is time for another one of our monthly interviews with one of the new Manager Accelerator students. Super excited to be able to bring you this conversation that I had with Natalie, who is a fantastic student of mine. And I think this one is particularly inspiring because she almost gave up. She really almost gave up this role. She had gotten to a point in her management position where she just felt like, hey, I am just not making an impact. And before giving up, she decided, hey, I'm going to reach out to Mac and see if she can help me. And so it's really, really cool to be able to listen to her journey and, all the wins that she's had. And so I'm really, really excited to be able to share this with you. So buckle up, grab a drink of choice. For me, it's going to be a mango shake because that's just what I do. And listen in as I talk to Natalie about her trajectory as a new manager.
All righty. Well, thank you so much, Natalie, for agreeing to be here on the channel today. It is an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you for inviting me and having me.
Oh, it is honestly a dream of mine to have you. Honestly, it really, really is. And so, thank you so much for Natalie and I were talking a little bit before we hit the record button about stepping out of our comfort zones a little bit. And she was saying that, being here on the channel, which is quite, wide for a wider audience, it's a little bit uncomfortable, but that she's doing it because she cares so much about y'all. And so I want y'all to give her a huge round of applause for being here today because, you know, it's hard stepping out of our comfort zones, right? I
Thank
remember
you.
feeling the exact same way the first time I turned on YouTube. Okay. So I get you.
Yes, all those brave souls out there, just putting themselves out there on YouTube. It, it takes a lot.
Takes a lot. So yeah, no, we appreciate you. So, really wanted to have you on the channel today because, like I wanted to bring more of y'all from the group onto the channel so that y'all can share your stories. Because, like we were talking about before we hit record, it's important that others know that there is assistance for them out there, and to hear other people's journeys so that they are inspired, so that they can do really well themselves. And so that's why I wanted to have you on the channel today. So let's start from the very beginning
Okay.
with where you started. You want to tell, the wider audience a little bit about, well, first of all, if you want to introduce yourself, you can do that, but also tell us about kind of your beginnings as a manager and what was kind of a struggle point for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, my name is Natalie, and once again, thank you for having me. My beginnings as a manager, I would say as an individual contributor, I always exceeded at my role, and I was a little bit shy about taking that next step. So when my previous manager was leaving, she encouraged me to apply for her position. And I was really, really nervous. I didn't think I could do it, but I did, and I got the position. The struggle that I had was I got it, but then what do I do now? There were no tools, there was no guidebook, there was no mentor to say, okay, you're doing great. These are the things you need to work on, these are the things you need to improve. It's just like, here you go. Here's your team of 15 to manage, and thank you. So it was learning as you go, a lot of tumbling, um, trying to understand the dynamics of my new role. And then also, I was their peer. So I went from their peer to now being their boss. And sometimes that's an easy transition, and sometimes it's not, because some people feel like maybe you didn't deserve the job, you're not ready for the job. What can you do? And then that communication you have as, on the same level, it changes when you become a leader, because now maybe they don't want to make the small talk with you. Now you're the boss, they look at you differently. So it was a lot for me to gather as a new leader.
Mm.
And as I went on, year 2, year 3, year 4 into doing it, I just still felt like I didn't have the tools. I knew how to run a meeting, I knew how to make sure my staff knew the directives, but there was still no guidance on how I could be a great leader, not just, lead a team and do it a day to day, but really how to bring out their passion to make sure that, they know that I'm here, that I'm supporting them, that I value them, and I want them to take pride in their work. But it was very hard when you have so many directives and, you're going through trying to make sure you're getting everything done. And not only that, trying to balance your time. Like, not really learning how to set boundaries because I found my time giving, giving, giving. And I was working 12, 15, constantly working overtime. And so I felt drained. And then if I'm drained, I can't really help my team if I can't even help myself.
Mm. Wow. Natalie, there's so many like things, gems that you just like talked about. And one of the things that I don't think I really realized about you before, which is what you just said, is around the fact that you really didn't want to be adequate, is what I'm hearing you say, right? Because you said, I kind of had an idea of what I was doing. Like I knew how to run meetings and I knew how to give directives, but I didn't feel like I was a great leader. And so I
Yeah.
wanted to up level. I didn't know that that was like your driving force. It was like, I just don't want to be adequate. Where did you find that desire? Because honestly, a lot of people go to work just wanting to be adequate. So why do you think you were different in that way?
It comes from the way I was raised, my family. I owe a lot to my parents. They worked very hard to make sure that their children had successes in life. And they always taught me to give my personal best. I may not like everything I do, but I strongly believe when you get hired to do something or anything in your life, you want to try to do it to the best of you. Never know what other people are going through. Just a hello, a good morning, a smile, willing to help in whatever avenue or career you have goes a long way. And so that's just what's always been instilled in me. And
Mm,
I just can't see doing it any other way.
got it. So it must have been quite a challenge for you then, being in a position where you felt like you weren't necessarily doing your best.
Yes, I did. And then maybe at times thought I was doing my best, but then other people said, "No, you're not." Or the criticism wasn't constructive. It wasn't anywhere to help build me. Um, I think some of the things that I've talked to you that I've learned within this leadership course is I'm an introvert. And most of my leaders and my bosses have been extroverts. And I think introverts lead in a different way, and you don't always see introverts in the workforce, but it may not look exactly like an extrovert, but we can lead. It's just in a different way. And because it's different doesn't make it necessarily a bad thing. And one thing, it's okay to give criticism, but a lot of times it's just like you didn't do this, but there was no guidance on how you could be better or how you could resolve the issue. And that's really what I was looking for. And a lot of times my leaders just didn't have time. It's not that that they were bad bosses. I think we've all encountered like a bad boss, but I've had decent leaders. They just didn't have the time.
Mhm.
And, like I said, a lot of my leadership roles has kind of just been like, here you go, here's your team. If you need anything, you know, I'm here. Here's the book, here's the thing, here you go. Like,
Yeah, that's how most of us experience it, eh? It's
yes,
yeah, we all
very little training or transition period.
yeah, it's so true. And it can feel very lonely, right?
Yes, because I find that people don't talk a lot about how they feel. Like, as leaders, maybe we have team meetings, we have discussions, but maybe having a meeting about some of the challenges and how you overcome, because I think it helps to know that you're not the only one feeling this way. And it was such a relief when I found you online because I was like, okay, here's somebody I can learn from and grow. And it opened up another community of people that I can bond with and talk to and realize it's just not me. A lot of people feel this way and it's okay. And
Mm.
it was a group of us, and we come and we support one another. And we say, we've been through that. This is how I've been experienced it, reach out. I'm here to help you. And, just you're not alone. It made me realize that I'm growing as a leader. I may not be perfect and I won't ever be able to please everybody, but I know that I'm setting out to learn how to be a better leader. I care.
Yeah, you're doing what it takes, right? To
Yes.
be that best that you want to be. Absolutely. So, what was it then? Because obviously you said it was, you tried it on your own for year one, two, and you were kind of like doing the best that you could, but you didn't really feel like you were quite there yet. So, what was it that made you say, this is the time for me to join NMA? Like, why did you decide that you wanted to join this program?
Quite honestly, I was at a low point. I was at a crossroads where I felt like, do I even want to be a leader? Is it for me? Or should I just go back to being an individual contributor because I just felt like I give and I give and
Mm.
I'm not getting the results that I want or the impact from my team. And I wouldn't say as all, like I produced results, but not just results. I wanted to build trust for them to instill in me as a leader, and part of that, maybe I needed to open up a little bit more as well. But I really felt that um, before I finally give up, seek help. When you don't know something, or maybe someone has the tools that you don't have access to, before I say this isn't for me, let me go search out there. Let me find someone who is willing to take time to invest in me. And that was you.
Ah, I'm so glad. I'm so glad to have you. I actually remember being I was reading your onboarding form the other day, and what you just said is exactly what you actually put in your onboarding form. I don't know if you remember this.
Mm.
But you said like, "Hey, I am joining this program because I am not sure if I want to do this anymore. And so before I completely give up, I'm going to give this a shot." And I remember saying to you, I don't know if you remember this, but I remember sending you a note back saying, "I know you can do this."
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And you reached out to me immediately.
Yeah.
I mean, I was shocked because I was just like, wow, like she actually read what I said. And, it really meant the world to me because it showed right there that this just wasn't any just course where you pay a fee and then, you just get these things and that's it. You really care about each and one of us and you invest in us. You get to know us not on a professional level, but also on a personal level. And, from here, you always make sure that we're okay.
Because I just think y'all are the best. I really, really do. I was telling all the students, and I'm going to tell y'all now, people talk about the fact that teachers are, do you remember me saying this? About how teachers are incredibly important to our society. And I do believe teachers are incredibly important, hands down, just like our nurses, right? But I also think that managers are incredibly important because we play a huge role in an adult's life, right? Like teachers play an incredible role with students as they're growing up. But managers, y'all are in the trenches with people day in and day out, like after they graduate high school, after they finish
Yes,
college and stuff like that. And so we can have a tremendous impact on people's lives. And so I just think it's important that y'all are supported to the nines so that you can do what you do because it's really important work.
it
Absolutely.
is.
So for you then, Natalie, what has changed for you as a result of joining the program?
Number one would be increased confidence. Like
Mm,
doing this course, I have a lot more confidence in myself.
mm,
And the other thing, with taking criticism, as long as it's constructive, I can learn from it. Because some of it I internalized so much, it really wasn't, you helped me see what was useful and what I need to put aside. Also, it really helped me set and leading in a different way, but giving me the tools to lead better. Really setting a foundation, core values for
mm,
what I understand that the company wants, but core values as for myself as an individual, and then also finding out what the associate actually wants. Like going more into what makes them happy, what drives them, building more of a bond to them. I I I don't remember the exact quote, but it resonates with me where you mentioned the one mentor that you had that he's like, I don't want to just want this to be just any job. I really want you to pursue this and not just get a paycheck. Value what you do. And
Yes.
I want to try to instill the same thing with your course. It's really helped me move beyond that. It's giving me the skills, helping me come out of my shell a little bit, helping me open up so that my staff get to see another side of me, helping me set more of a foundation as far as boundaries. So I have work life balance. So then I am there. I can give my 100% because I now utilizing the tools, and then I can also help the leaders under me.
Mhm. You know what else I see? I see incredible potential for anything else you want to do. Because what I've noticed with all of you is that, yeah, the confidence level is like exponential, but that now means that y'all can go anywhere.
Yes.
You know that, right? Like, you know that's within, yeah, you know what
Yes.
you have that confidence that I'm not saying that she's leaving. I'm just saying that she now has the skill set and the confidence to go with that skill set that she can take absolutely anywhere. And so that's the thing, right, about leadership is that it's transferable.
Yes, yes, it is. And like just some of the golden nuggets that I've learned here, I've also shared with my other leaders, and it's helped them grow and share with their team. So it's a constant just learning.
Yeah. Yeah. It is a constant learning as long as we're willing, right?
Yes.
Willing
In fact,
to be
really.
in that discomfort so that we can grow. So in the winter, you shared with us in the accelerator program that you had a pretty big win in terms of recognition. Do you want to share it with us? What
Yeah.
happened?
So my boss, when I have my yearly evaluation, gave me the highest that you could give, which was significantly exceeding. And I was shocked. I mean, it literally, I have to admit, brought me to tears. I was literally like wiping my eyes during the evaluation because I was like, really? And my boss is very extroverted, very friendly, very nice. But I like her style because she at times lets us do our thing, but she's there.
Mm.
And she just told me about how I've grown in that year and what she's seen that I've accomplished and why she gave it to me. And I was like, wow, I I was so giddy and happy inside, but then I was just like, okay, I am making a difference, and it's showing. And even, one of the other things that was so exciting is that you have like the love language and the personality quiz, and all of my leaders that I've done it with has loved it. And when I discussed it with my boss, she was actually going through her own course, and it opened up a dialogue for the both of us. And
Right.
she shared, some of her traits. And I just felt like it was just a whole nother level that I was like, okay, so I'm really starting to learn my leader, know what she likes, and she's starting to learn me as well. So it just really helped me open up the lines of communication, be more confident about speaking my opinion. And that's one thing she definitely said. She's like, a year ago, you would have been quiet and never said anything. And now you have the confidence to say, hey, I don't like this. Why don't we try this instead? So
That is so true.
yes.
That is so true. That is so true because I'm even thinking about like what are your like maybe first like calls with us and how quiet and reserved you are. And now you come on the calls and you're like, well, here's what I think. Night and day.
But now that I found my tribe, I feel comfortable, so I can just let it all out. It's a safe place to just speak.
No, but it's good because I feel like y'all are like practicing in these safe forums, and then when you get to work, then you amp it up a little bit, right?
Yes.
And then others get to see it. So I'm glad that your boss was able to see just how much you've grown, because you have, like, it has been incredible watching your growth. And I think what's been so incredible watching is how willing you are to get uncomfortable. And y'all, I was actually talking about Natalie on the channel. I think it was like 3 or 4 months ago when I mentioned discomfort. I actually like mentioned you, Natalie. I'm not sure if you probably didn't see that YouTube video because y'all have a lot of work to do in the program. In the YouTube video, I mentioned Natalie and I said that she's one of the ones that I am constantly inspired by because she just pushes all the time past her comfort zone, and she gets in discomfort because she knows that that is going to mean growth. And you have absolutely done that every step of the way. Every time something's hard, you're like, all right, I'm gonna do it then.
I know. I was like, what would Mac do? And I just have to listen back my head, and I'm like, I could do this. Take a deep breath and be like, okay, here we go.
Because you had to do some pretty tough things.
Yes, yes, I have, but in the end, it ended up in a good outcome. And sometimes, being uncomfortable is okay,
Yeah.
as long as your heart's in a good place, it's truthful, and there's no malice in it. It's good intentions, and we all need that every once in a while. You need a truth buddy that's gonna, you know, set you on course occasionally.
It can't be too easy, right? It can never.
No, it can't be.
I love it. And I'm really happy. Like, we were all cheering for you when you came on and said that you exceeded, absolutely exceeded expectations, and that your boss like recognized you in that way. It was a really great moment for us to be able to celebrate that with you. So thank you so much for sharing that with all of us. It just goes to show, right? What's possible. If you get the right tools and you have the right resources and the support system, you can go from being you're from feeling like, hey, I'm not really operating at my best, to having somebody else go, nah, you're operating at your best.
Yes, yes. And come in inspired and love what you do and be confident because now you have the tools.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So sometimes I get on calls with managers, right, for the accelerator program, and they'll say, Mac, this accelerator program sounds awesome, but you put out a lot of good YouTube content for free. So what could I possibly get from your program that I can't just get from your YouTube videos? Now, I know that there's a big difference. What would you say the difference is?
The difference is the one-on-one contact. Like a YouTube video is just like an introduction to Mac and what she has to offer. But once you go into the course, I mean, she's pouring her heart and soul into everything. I mean, she's working with you as an individual, like checking in with you, seeing how you're doing. Like if you're talking about some of the issues that I came up, I mean, she even said that night, that same night, I told her about it. She sent me a video. And I mean, she stayed up late on how to work through it and how to have the conversation. Then she checked back in with me 2 days later to make sure I was okay. Then in the course again, she asked me how I was doing. I mean, you're not going to get that just from a YouTube video. And if you really want the help and need the help and want that one-on-one contact support, not only that, but everybody else that she brings into the community and that she inspires, we're all there for each other. That's what you'll be getting if you go beyond just a YouTube video.
Yeah. I like what you just said there about the community.
Yes.
Y'all are beautiful people, honestly. I love how
Yeah.
you have each other's back. It is so beautiful. Winnie the other day called it, what did she call it? A happy hour.
Hour. Okay. Yes, because you have those days at work sometimes where you're just tired and it's just been a long day. And there'll be times when I'm just like, oh, I want to take a nap. I'm tired. But I'm like, nope, I need to go to my leadership course today. I sign on and I get renewed and I get inspired. And I said, it's my happy hour. This is what I needed. I needed that that refuel to say, hey, Natalie, you got this. And that's what we do for each other each week.
Yeah, that's so true. Y'all make that happen. Y'all are the ones that make that happen. So, of course, you know that there's going to be a lot of people watching this. And so that are brand new as well to management. So, they're going to be incredibly inspired by you, your story, and your journey. So, I would love for you to share with them what you know now that you wish you would have known then that has really helped you up level as a manager.
That's a tough one. I've been thinking about that a lot. I think what I know now that I didn't know then is I was afraid to ask for help. And then the other thing is that I waited too long to seek it out. I truly feel that probably I could have saved myself a lot of discomfort if, I took that leap of faith earlier. I just keep thinking back that once again, if I would have, not been so afraid and, maybe asked for help earlier, I could have avoided some of the challenges earlier. I think those are the two main things that I think about, that what I know now, what I would have done differently, I would have taken that step sooner.
Hmm. That's so interesting. Why do you think you were so afraid to ask for help?
Maybe I'm not the one that tends to ask for help a lot of times too, but I also think I just didn't want to be disappointed. I think I didn't want to go through another course that maybe would have just been disappointing or not what I wanted to seek out. Like, this is not it. Or maybe there may have been times in the past that I've asked and I just didn't get the help, quite honestly. It
Mhm.
just it just wasn't there. So part of it was just fear and not wanting to be disappointed again.
Hmm. That's a good one. That's a good one. Fear of not wanting to be disappointed. I can definitely understand that. I can definitely understand that. And I think that'll resonate with a lot of people, right? Just in general in life,
Yeah.
like that fear of not wanting to be disappointed. So thank you for sharing that and being so honest about that. Well, I am so happy that we had this conversation today. Thank you so much, Natalie, for joining us on the platform and gracing us with your presence and sharing all your wins and your highlights. What do you think's next for you? Like now that you've got this like leadership thing down packed, what's next for Natalie? I know I didn't have this question planned, but I'm curious.
I don't know what's next for me, but like one thing, I just want to take this time to thank you. You know, I've always thanked you privately, but also publicly, because I wouldn't be here where I am today without your help. And it's been hard. It's been really hard. But going through this course and putting in the work, you really see that courage that maybe I didn't know was there. Maybe had a little bit of it, but now I'm like at a, I don't know if I would say 100%, but I'm there. I think what's next for me is just going through the next phase. Like I
Mm,
think there was always a part of me like, do I just stop here? Do I go up higher or whatnot? And I don't think I would have had the confidence to go up because I felt so defeated at where I was. Now I feel like I have the tools. I can help inspire others. I can make a difference. I can make an impact.
oh yeah, for sure. I definitely see director in your future. You know that, right? Coming.
Yes, and I have to say if I can, well, I won't say it, but like I think one of the fears too is because I'm a little bit of a quiet person, so putting yourself out there because when you're a director, you're on a whole nother level, and I do respect people in those positions because I don't think it's easy.
Right.
Being a leader isn't easy, and sometimes when you're a leader, everybody has an opinion, you
Yeah.
know, and it makes it hard. But I definitely think if you rise to that opportunity and you're chosen, everybody, I would hope, just tries to do the best they can.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm just putting it out there right now that that's where I see you. That's happening soon.
Well, thank you.
First. So when it does happen, I'll let y'all know. Thank you so much, Natalie. It was a pleasure to have you today. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
thank you, thank you for inviting me.
Didn't I tell you that was going to be an awesome, awesome conversation? I am just, listen, Natalie, if you're watching this video, I want you to know that I'm so, so proud of you. To see how much you have grown and changed has honestly been a delight for me. And so thank you so much for being part of my community and for trusting me with, such a huge pivotal moment in your career. Anyways, to the rest of our friends watching, want to let you know that I hope that you were able to derive inspiration from this conversation that I had from Natalie, and that you know that you can absolutely make an impact and become effective in your role as long as you have the right support system and the tools and the resources. And so, to that point, if you want to have a similar trajectory like Natalie, and you're ready to really step up in your role, then definitely book a call with me using the link in the description box below to see if you are a fit for the new Manager Accelerator program. Thank you so much for watching and for tuning in. I will see you next week.